Okay, so I'm going to show a product we carry. It's a tachometer tester. It's for 8-cylinder tachometers. You could actually use it on a 6 by doing a little bit of math. But in general, it just simulates a signal that you'd normally get from the ignition system that comes to the gauges and the tachometer circuit board, and it interprets it and gives you a correct readout. So this particular tool is designed to simulate that signal, which is a square pulse width signal. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate it. We'll go ahead and turn it on. It's a pretty nice little tester. The red LED indicates it's on. Here's our selector for speeds, simulate the speed. So go ahead and turn it up to around, we'll go up to 1500 RPM here. It looks good. 3000 RPM. Yeah, I'll just go all the way through the full range. So this tachometer is good. We actually knew that before we started because we tested it, and basically what it did was we brought the RPM up to about 2000 RPM. Then as we went up higher, the gauge just dropped back down to 0. It turned out to be the board. Typical problem with the boards, we sell replacement circuit boards. Sometimes they can be repaired. This particular one, we repaired it by putting a variable potentiometer on it. And I'll kind of demonstrate what you can do with those if that's the problem. So with this, you can just adjust the resistance, which will change your RPM output. So this is kind of how you calibrate your tachometer to make sure it's accurate. So this particular tester here is not really designed for specifically calibrating. So when you put the dial on 3000 RPM, it may be putting out a signal that's right at 3000, or it might be off by 5 or 10%. If you have a oscilloscope where you can actually measure the frequency of the wave being generated, then you can use it for calibrating. But it's generally not meant for that. It's just meant for testing the tachometer, make sure it's working throughout the full range. A lot of times guys go to junkyards or swap meets and they pick up tachometers or circuit boards, and they have no idea if they're any good. They just stick them in the car and try them, and I'd say probably about 75% of the time they're not good. With this particular tester, you can actually test the boards right there in person before you buy them. It also has an optional battery pack, so it is portable. But more realistically, what most people do is they pick up a part and stick it in their car and hope it works. This, you can actually test it ahead of time and know that the tachometer is working and it's not the car. It's not something wrong with the car. It's just yep. So, anyways, just thought I would show you that. Go ahead and hook it up to a little different kind of a different model year tack here for a minute and show you how that works. And this one was a little bit hard to hook up without it flopping all over the place because it was one of the GM plugs. So let me pull this out here. All right, so we'll go ahead and turn that off, put that to idle. So we're going to hook this up to the back of this board here. So this board hasn't been repaired. It's still just original, and we checked it earlier and it worked fine. So I'm going to go ahead and hook it up. So just got to make sure you hook it up correctly. And it's pretty easy to make sure. It says ground on it, positive, coil. So we'll go ahead and put that up like this so we can see it. All right, turn it on. See, it's powering up. We'll go ahead and go through the full RPM range. Yep, and so this one's working as well. And yeah, so that's basically it. We also have another tester that's a a little different in that you can actually use it for calibrating, but it's a little more expensive as well. So that's that. If there's any questions, feel free to submit them or email them to us, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. Thanks for watching.